Hey, hi, hello, and welcome everyone to the season 2 of the Join series. I'm John Vincent, co-founder of nicheBrains and the host of this session. Just a quick brief about nicheBrains. nicheBrains is a model consulting platform which is aimed to democratize digital transformation for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Our platform primarily enables leaders of SMEs to connect with industry experts on demand to accelerate their growth and transformation. In the first session, we primarily talked about to industry veterans who have guided MSMEs on various digital transformation initiatives. In this session, we will be joined by some of the top industry experts to discuss on empowerment, primarily for freelance consultants through different tools, insights, and opportunities. So for this session, I'm very happy to have Nitin, director at nicheBrains. So Nitin's a mechanical engineer. He has already co-run a small manufacturing unit, and in fact has grown it by about 20 times in revenue. He's an IIM alumnus and a seasoned AI/ML coach. He also can dabble on neuro-linguistic programming at an amateur level. So welcome to today's interaction, Nitin. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Nice.
So Nitin, yeah, great again. So Nitin, today, it's pretty much an interesting and important topic. It's about the power of pitching, the must-have arsenal for consultant. I've been interacting with almost for the past couple of years with quite a lot of MSMEs. And in fact, we have connected some of the experts also through our platforms to these MSMEs. The primary challenge when I do this, right, I see that there's an expectation mismatch when the MSME wants to what the expert is pitching. So how do you think that you could have managed this better?
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, John, for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts and some of my learnings from those 14, 15 years as a co-entrepreneur. So I'd like to just answer your question. I'd like to just briefly tell about my credentials, not in terms of what I am qualified as, but I just want to tell you that I am, as a co-founder of an organization or a co-entrepreneur of an organization, I was one of the rare people who was slightly more educated. I had a graduate degree, and I consider myself to be aware of the macro and some of the micro aspects of how the world in general is ticking. So rather than be closeted and have a very small view of only the industry, I did have a global view right from the beginning. So as my stint, I could probably know at a high level, not just my MSME industry, but the MSME industry in general, how it used to work. And like I said, my peers were people who probably came from the trenches, who worked in small factories, who put up these small factories, MSME units, purely out of way of employment as a start to self-employment, rather than what you would think is somebody who's had a lot of money and decided to set up a factory. It was rarely those cases. So their focus was on probably the day-to-day activities, and focus rather than take time out to look at the macrocosm of the things. So what I've noticed in the culture with reference to the MSME people is, even before the consultants walked into a factory, our factory for that matter, there would be a little bit of resistance. Thankfully, like I said, I belong to a place, I came from a place where I could probably look at the macro picture. I had done some transformation changes, simple things like computers for supervisors, computer for the storekeeper, and then he should not be writing it on physical ledgers, and then having those things connected. These were some of the things that we did.
Yeah.
And then therefore I was able to probably understand the need for transformation, which is required, which definitely a consultant or an external agency brings in. So that was also there. And another credential that I have, after I kind of decided to move on, I got into the AI/ML space. So I did a lot of consulting for industries in that particular space. So my experience as a co-founder with predominantly kind of a micro view specific to the industry with my consulting background kind of, I would say gives me the right to probably have this session or conduct this session. So I'll probably be discussing more about this as we go through, and I'll probably get into the details of that.
Right. Wonderful, wonderul. So let's address the the elephant in the room. You've had your experience on both sides. You've been an MSME owner, you've been a consultant as well. So what would be, in your opinion, that if we can say it as one single core blocker that a consultant faces when they're trying to pitch, probably on a transformation idea to MSMEs?
Okay. I cannot really say that. I cannot really pick amongst, because there are multitude factors that are responsible for MSMEs to kind of shut down anybody trying to enter into their systems or into their space to provide them some kind of a measure of improvement. So there are multitude things that are there. But if I were to pick one, and by no means this one is the biggest one, I would just pick one. What I'll say is that the background of an MSME owner, especially first generation owners, is they live and work in the premise that if you work hard, you will get good things. So basically, good things happen if you only come to you through the hard way. The harder you work, the more efforts you put in, the better are the results. The consultants, what I have noticed, give a perception that things are very easy. You are working very hard. You don't have to do that. You know what? By doing this X, Y, Z or A, B, C, things will become very easy, which is a little hard to digest because 15, 20 years they have worked really hard. They have tried 100 things, failed 99 things, and then probably come there. So that is what they teach their younger generation, that if you work hard, really hard, and if success comes to you very easily, it will not last for long. So that is probably the biggest, I would say, if I have to pick one, the thought process that they have, that a transformation, how can a transformation be, something that can make things overnight very easy? They also have this fear, or they have this inhibition that a person who's coming to make the transformation or make some kinds of consultancy engagement does not take any accountability. He only comes and explains it at a very high level and tells them that these are the things you need to do, but does not take any accountability per se. So I guess that I would rate as one factor, one common factor in many of the MSMEs kind of, putting the consultants or any transformation changes anybody wants to offer at bay.
Yeah. So, but Nitin, I think, you'd made a very interesting fact, but let me also think that, the fact remains that when most of these MSMEs, in fact, they operate, at suboptimally. But the data that has shown to them when consultants have engaged, especially, right, the measurement metrics of the organization has definitely taken a positive turn. So what would be the solution for this now?
You're absolutely right, John. You're absolutely right. I mean, while I'm talking about what inhibits the MSMEs from engaging consultants, I'm no way saying that MSMEs are right.
Right.
Again, this is a very tricky situation. While I'm saying MSMEs are right, I'm not saying that they are wrong either. They have every right to feel the way they are feeling because they have come up that way. It is a point of education. So I guess we were coming to the crux of the essential, the topic of the meeting, which is what are the ways that a consultant can probably make headway or get into the MSME space or on that covered silo of that MSME, so that they can actually make progress in that. So with my experience, I have a 5-step, I wouldn't say 5-step or a 5-page playbook kind of a strategy, which you can probably call as a playbook. And then the first one I would say is research. All right, the first step or the first thing. Not in all these steps need not be in the same sequence. It can be jumbled up, and all the steps need not have to be taken into account when you are trying to approach an MSME customer. So research. Now, one can never be totally prepared for a target customer. The more a consultant or any service provider knows about their specific customer, it is better. I mean, I think it goes back to the adage where you say, if I have 8 hours to cut a tree, I'll spend 7 hours sharpening my axe. So oftentimes I've seen people walk in and say, sir, I'm so and so, and this is what we can do. This is what will happen. This is, hello, do you know me? All right. So that is where research was one thing that as a consultant, you probably need to do, and not just the industry in general, but specifically that particular factory or that particular organization that you're entering. Then next, what I feel is there is something called as the push and the pull approach. Oftentimes we try to engage in the push approach. We tell them, you know what, you need this. You know what, this is, if you do this, your processes will improve. This has been proven, you must do that. Right. The pull approach, what I believe is kind of understanding the requirements that the organization has, understanding the pain areas, going through a conversation, and then coming from there. Any organization at any level of efficiency has certain areas of improvement that they can find. So picking up those areas and trying to tell them how certain improvements, certain transformative approaches within the organization can actually make changes for them. I would strongly recommend never to do an elevator pitch. A consultant should never do an elevator pitch when you are going for a meeting with an MSME. All right. So that doesn't really work, because kind of people immediately shut down, and that's what it is. And if you use the analogy, you are a consultant, you are a doctor to a patient. You need to probably patiently listen to them. You're not a teacher to a student. You know what? Do this, and therefore you will succeed in life. So that's the difference. A consultant is a doctor, not a teacher. Right. That is with reference to the pull approach. So I have a 5-step process. So third one is be prepared for failure. All right. Mentally, you go prepared for that you will fail, rather than trying to look at it in the perspective that when I go, I'm going to get a success. One more customer is succeeded. No, go prepared for failure. Reason why I'm telling you this is because you will then change your approach. Knowing that you're going to fail, you will probably change your approach. Entrepreneurs, specifically in the space of MSME, specifically who started really low, are really tough negotiators. These people are there where they are because they have been negotiating, they have been struggling at every level, whether it is struggling with suppliers for a better price, struggling with their customers for a better value for their orders, or even at times struggling with laborers in case of IR problems, negotiating with the statutory departments. They have done it all. So if somebody is going to give them a hardcore marketing sales pitch, all right, they're not going to like it. You're trying to pitch me. Come on, of all the people, I've sold things to anybody. So they'll probably shut down. So you'll have to, take the approach of the onion, peel one layer at a time. And that, I said, goes back to the pull approach. You may succeed, you may not succeed, but you will make an interaction. You will make some headway in that time. And the fourth point is, John, I had this you told me about this, I was prepared. So the fourth one is the success stories. Now everyone loves a good story. All right. So if you are going to an organization and you have multiple stories to tell about case studies where, and it should be about a considerable amount of detail about successes that similar MSMEs, have obtained in their field of work. That is going to, really break the ice. But again, there's a disclaimer. Please do not go for the story first. That is why I said maintain a kind of sequence. You may decide to make some changes, but if you go and say, you know what, I have this pamphlet, I have this booklet, and this customer A, customer B, customer C, customer D, these people have succeeded because of they have taken up this particular product, or they have taken up this particular services, or they have done this digital transformation. Again, you are kind of, closing your deal yourself. You're kind of losing out on the pitch yourself, because the thing about an MSME organization, even if that person is in a industrial area or a cluster, is that they always believe they are unique. All right, they may be doing the same work. The factory next door may be doing the same work, but they want to believe that they are unique. They are different. The culture is different. That's what they want to believe, and you need to acknowledge that and work on that. So what I'm saying is, instead of probably saying, this is what they have done and it'll work for you. The pitch could be kind of, while these people's successes have worked on this, things could be slightly different. But I'm sure if I could get to know, we can probably tweak these things and try to work it around your ecosystem or your organization. So like I said, success stories is important. Where you come up and where you pitch the success stories at what point of time is also important. And the success story shouldn't sound like because they have done it, you do it. They have done it, they have gotten success. Why don't you try it? You could get successes. Maybe we could make changes. Yes, you are different. Yes, you are unique, but definitely worth a try. So that is with reference to, having a repository of success stories. And finally, it's all about, empathy. I call it, I simply label it as empathy. So entrepreneurs, like I've already mentioned in the beginning, they are there because they are there for livelihood. When they started, it was for a self-livelihood. So many of them do not have premium qualification. Many of them probably do not have, corporate or, MNC work experience, things like that. Many of them are from a specific region, born and brought up and living in that same region for like forever, very little exposure, etc. So a consultant is expected to be highly qualified as far as education goes, should have good credentials with reference to the kind of companies you work for. But showcasing them in a way that you probably do it on LinkedIn, like I'm an IIT Kharagpur graduate, and then I'm IMA. I did my MBA from IMA with a CGPA of 9.8. Is good in LinkedIn, but this is going to be a little, alarming, or people feel a little closed away. All right, when you kind of mention these kind of things, what I would want you to do is try to go to the level of the MSME. I'm a graduate in engineering. I've done my MBA, and I have worked in 5 different companies where I have successfully built on it. And I'm doing this consultancy specifically for the MSME space. And I've got certain successes in the MSME space. And as and when I do more and more consultancy, I also learn more about it. Kind of the same thing, but in a totally different approach that you have given. So this 5 things. So just to quickly, recap research. I mean, you can never have enough of research. Take the pull approach. They should be sold the idea that they need a service. Then you pitch your company's services. Be prepared for failure, but make a relationship with this thing. Have a repository of success stories and have empathy. Now, just a minute more, John. While I have mentioned the 5-stage process or a playbook, whatever you call it, there could be data available with consultants who have joined that, in fact, whatever Nitin is saying is nothing. I mean, I've done 3-4 cases where I did not even follow even a single of that, and I could, get successes. Absolutely right. It is possible. All right. This data is or this playbook, whatever you call it, is on the basis of my experiences both as an MSME entrepreneur and a consultant, and how to, make headway there. For some different people, different things would work. But what I strongly believe that this playbook will definitely give you a reasonably better success of making the headway, which currently probably you're not facing. So that's exactly the way I kind of look at it. Sorry, I kind of got excited and gave a very long, drawn answer, but I guess
absolutely. I think wonderful points here, Nitin. I believe these are probably some of those key playbook items that you have probably tried and you probably reach success. As you rightly pointed out, it doesn't have to be the way that this is probably the mantra that everybody's got to follow. But I'm sure this is a kind of from an expert like you, this is something that you have followed, and you have probably achieved greater success in reaching out to customers, and you've had successful engagements. So I'm actually, in fact, very intrigued to, understand from you itself that how is there any place wherein you could share that you have used some of the points that you have mentioned in your playbook for either or some of your success stories? It'll be great for the audience to also see how it really mapped with a success story, because I'm sure that others would have tried differently, but maybe they can also try it out in a way that this maps probably when they are going in and going to pitch with some of the MSME customers.
I'll answer this question. I'm glad you asked me this. I'll answer this question, but not as in the perspective of me being a consultant, knocking on the doors, but as going back as the co-entrepreneur for an MSME company, where incidentally, one of the vendors offering us a services was kind of played by this book. I mean, it was coincidental or whatever, or he had the experience. So this is 10, 12 years back story in the previous company that when in my previous organization where I was the co-entrepreneur. And I had by then done the requirement about like PC should be there for storekeeper, no more manual ledger, once entered should not be entered again. The fundamental things of digitization done. And it was kind of fate that somebody came in with the idea of an ERP. We were a small company. ERP is already considered to be, ARP means SAP, used to be a time. So they were offering us an ERP that was kind of made for the MSME, which was pretty affordable. But again, like I said, MSMEs can be a little closeted for new changes. We have done this way. It has worked for 15 years. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. But we kind of accepted or went into the discussion for certain reasons. Now, this person, the CEO of the company, the ERP company, had, I told you the first phase of research. Now, this person has known the industrial area where he has been ensuring that he gets invited to whatever meetings, etc. we are there. And he would listen most of the times, speak less. He was always, and he had taken a run-up, taken a nice run-up before he did the leap, the long jump. And once he had done the research, he understood, then at the networking meeting, he would to speak to us, shake hands, I'm doing this, etc. And that was the research part of it. Now, after having gained the trust and for the feedback, then he tried to understand during the discussions. He was not even trying to sell the product, nothing. He says, what is it that you face? And we discussed because we had that level of thing. Then he said, let me see if my product if we have anything that can help you. Even again, he's not selling anything. He's only, let me check and find out if he's my product. Right. I think he already knew that the product had the answer, but that's how he kind of sold us the idea that there is a solution possible, which can be given from the external one. So, and then even during the pre-sales, he was not, trying to tell this is what we have, what do you see, will it help you and things like that. Never, ever he's tried to say, if you buy this, it is so much and subscription is so much, never. So I guess that comes to the third phase where he was kind of not selling the products, he kind of prepared for failure. And then when we did explore the possibility of engaging them and when we wanted to, say, okay, I think this looks fun, this looks interesting, I think we will go ahead for this. Now, the timeline was about 2-3 months before we had that process. So this will be fun, let me do that. That is when he came up with this is, sir, you may be knowing this industry, this person has invested. Oh, really? This person has invested, this person has invested in this and they are gaining success. You could probably speak to them and then they are doing this. So he kind of came up with the success stories only when he was sure that he was going to, get the sale order or whatever to actually cement the deal further. Because now imagine the psychology of the consultant who has such an arsenal of success stories to show you, but is holding back, waiting for the right moment. So it's like, you basically, rather than having a machine gun and spraying bullets all over the place, I think the sniper does more, damage. Again, the analogy is not very great, but just came to my mind. So I think the consultant needs to be sniper, wait patiently, and then you move in when you are actually sure that, and it takes a lot of research. Empathy is something that I kind of had mentioned, but because this happened about 10, 12 years back, I really don't remember the kind of conversations or whatever happened during that. But the very fact that this gentleman is friends with me even after 10, 12 years now, and on first name basis, we speak to each other and all updates with the family and all that go on. I guess he must have done something right on the empathy front also. So I guess, this is a case study wherein an ERP implementation nonetheless was
Right.
taken up by our industry, thanks to probably some of the right things that the consultant had done, and we are here.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Nitin. This was a great case study. I think it comes out of your experience. I think from the way the expert had approached you, you basically mapped it along with those 5 points of your playbook, and I think it's a great insight for the experts also to take it forward. So just to reiterate again, right, this session is for the experts who want to have a breakthrough in terms of their pitching for their services to MSMEs. So if I have to bring it down to probably one sentence, what advice would you really want to give them? What can be treated like a takeaway from today's this conversation that we had, Nitin?
Okay, a sentence can have commas and semicolons.
Definitely. I'm sure it's pretty tough to squeeze it in, but
yeah.
I just wanted to hear that from you.
Okay. Okay, more than knowing your product or knowing your offerings, what you have to offer, it's more important to know your customer. Once the customer is kind of made aware of the efforts that you have taken to know about them, it's pretty easy. It's a smooth ride from then on. That's where it is. I mean, one sentence. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's a very, very key point that you mentioned, Nitin. Know your customer. Do your homework before when you go to the customer. I think that basically makes them feel connected. That's what I would say. That you've already done your background work and you've come in front. So I think that's a very, very key word or sentence that you would like to say, and that's something that definitely the experts can take it from here as a key point that they can go and apply with MSMEs. So thanks a lot, Nitin, for the informative session today. So with that, we can open up for some audience questions. I think we've already had some couple of questions, and I'll just probably go through that. One, you said in the initial stage about don't go something about the elevated pitch, right? You had mentioned. So
no. Okay, I see the question now.
Yeah.
What I think my pronunciation was not very good. What I meant was the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So
right.
Elevator pitch in marketing is it's literally, if you get an opportunity to be with a decision maker in an elevator, the only time you have is from the time both of you are in the elevator. Now, he cannot run out of the elevator because you are there until his floor comes. And considering he will be with maybe 5-6 floors when he's traveling up. So you have your pitch should be concise and small so that in that 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you are able to sell the idea that the decision maker says, okay, come with me. So that is what is meant by elevator pitch. Consulting is a long-term thing. You're not selling, a mobile phone or a wristwatch or anything like that, or you're not selling a gun that you're trying to immediately do it. Otherwise, the customer is walking away. So don't do the elevator pitch in these kind of instances. Rather, do your research, understand the customer. Don't simply walk into a factory or an industry and say, you know what, I'm doing this and I can help you with this. If you're on a call, the phone will get disconnected. If you walk into that, no, not interested. So that is what I meant by the elevator pitch.
Yeah. So actually, this elevator pitch is an interesting concept. See, we in fact have come up with the concept of this portfolio as well, right? So wherein we're trying to bring out like an avatar of yourself rather than a standard resume. So in that, what we do is for each project or offering that you've done, or for that we have an elevated pitch. So that what happens is when we give it, can be presented to a customer. So he initially knows about you. So that basically highlights you. But I'm sure that when you're meeting in person, you really don't have to have an elevator pitch there. You're going to talk about their business, and you're going to talk about their challenges, and you're going to see how it's going to be addressed. So I think it makes sense there.
So my background the background of where I'm coming from when I said don't do the elevator pitch was Don't bring a circumstance that we'll have to make an elevator pitch. When you meet the customer, they should have already had some other means of having known them or some interaction or knowledge, or you basically going with an appointment. An elevator pitch kind of a strategy, I'll go walk in and I'll quickly speak for about a minute or 30 seconds and then probably sell the idea. No, it doesn't work. Rather, don't waste your time doing that, was what I wanted to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have, I can.
Another question is also there from 𝐓𝐻𝐿 Mishra, right? So he says that, I've observed that the accountability out heavily, from the MSMEs. They don't want a strategy consulting. They want you to walk in, do the job, show the results, which at times becomes a chicken and egg issue for new innovative stuff. How do we handle such situations?
See, if you're going to be selling something which is totally new, right? Totally new, even for you. What credentials do you carry that why should anybody want to invest? If you are, doing that, why should anybody even invest on that? Something new for the MSME, but not new for you.
Right.
Therefore, what comes in is the success stories or whatever you have. So you must have documented, you must have some literature, something available to show how whatever innovation, whatever transformation that you have done has shown some results.
Right.
Again, I hope the chicken and egg is not about when will I get an opportunity to showcase. See, you will have to figure that out. All right. If you are somebody who's trying something brand new, yes, good luck to you. You will need time to figure that out. I cannot really help you on that. The objective is you are a seasoned. Why should anybody why should any MSME entertain somebody with no experience? I mean, nobody does that, right? Especially MSMEs. So if you have that, literature is very, very important, where you are at a right moment of time, you should be able to tell them about it. It all comes only if you know, without their, realizing.
Yeah.
You should be able to, in the conversation, understand their pain areas without their realizing. All right. People say that, I have workers kind of leave me every now and then, and this is a big problem. And they have not mentioned, employment or HR sourcing or labor sourcing specifically. Some employees leave, something in that. You catch up on those finer nuances and try to say, okay, why don't we have a system wherein you can do that? Sell the idea, sell the solution first, sell the process later. That is what I'm trying to say.
Perfect. So there's another question from Ramamurthy, right? So what he says is, sometimes customers want to understand the fitment of the proposal solutions for their ecosystem. This might warrant to talk about some partial successful implementation. How do we package this? Should we talk about the learnings and how we have improved and why we are seeing this work this instance? That's his first question.
Okay. All right. See, consulting engagement, I understand, is not something like, it's not a silver bullet. You give it to you or a magic pill. The beans, you plant it and the tree grows the next day. It needs to be nurtured. It needs all those things. And therefore, expecting an MSME, I'm using the word MSME because that is where you will have maximum resistance. Expecting the MSME to give you that liberty or give you that much time, forget the money part of it, even the time, give you the time of 3 months, 6 months. Okay, you come to my factory, 6 months, you keep doing things. And then, we will wait for 6 months and decide. I don't think it's practical. It's right even to expect an MSME do that. So I cannot specifically talk for any specifically talk about a consulting engagement. What I can definitely say is that any engagement or any process change that you're looking at, you are the consultant, you are the best person. Why is it not possible for you to come up with kind of a roadmap with certain milestones, something measurable, something for improvement, which you can probably magnify, or you can probably focus on, like they say, low-hanging fruit. So when you go in there, rather than trying to solve the world hunger problem, let's specific thing. You know what? Let us do this. All right. While I'm here for a day. Let me just tell you, these are some of the things that I've observed. If you do this, I can guarantee you let us say the time motion study or workflow management. What I've noticed is, of course, you're a consultant, you should have the keen eye to immediately catch that. So workflow management, I can see that if you were to change this path, and this is, I'm offering you what is called as a zero cost innovation or near zero cost innovation. You just need to change the table this way. The people are sitting and turning towards their right. Why don't you turn the table so that the paper is given? A very simple thing. These are the things of ideas I'll give you. That is what it is all about, building confidence step by step. All right. While that is there, at the same time, have a kind of a roadmap, a milestone wherein you have those flags, those important stations where you will be able to show them within a stipulated period of time. This is what it is done. I'll be able to show you. I guess we need to have a more, more detailed proposal plan when you are going in for the, consulting engagement there.
Fantastic. I'm sure, people also, if there is some questions, you can also, you don't have to even type, you can also unmute and ask your questions. But I'll just take this one question, which is typed here though. So I think this is a standard universal challenge, which, Nikhil has put across here. Getting payments is quite difficult from MSMEs, right? Even after having a contract signed up with them. Right. So you can answer as an MSME as well, right? You can tell us why aren't you paying up to the expert, Nitin?
Okay. My playbook, what I have thought about it, I've spent a considerable amount of time and created that playbook. If you notice research, full strategy, prepared for failure, all the steps that I have kind of mentioned there. Through that process, before you even start the engagement with reference to the consulting engagement, you should have created a very good rapport. Absolutely. All right? That is the prerequisite. Because somebody is giving, see, if an MSME's intent is to take it from you with an intent of cheating, or an intent of defrauding you, you would know that. You would know that, okay, fine, do it. How is he? We did not even discuss. Okay, you come tomorrow, let's start. Payment, I will give you payment. Contract, what is the? Those are the red flags you should know. But if you've actually followed those steps, to a great extent, this risk of not getting payment would automatically be mitigated, given that you have established a kind of a rapport with them.
Absolutely.
Now, even then, I'm not saying this is foolproof. Even then, there could be scenarios that MSMEs wouldn't make the payments. Now, you will have to look for some win out of that. Says, sir, while I wait for the payment, I understand. But you have to do something. I see that neighbor, there is a factory. You need to give me that order. You can demand, sir, payment, I will wait. I understand you are in a difficult situation. But sir, I'm here anyway. Just introduce me. Trust me, an MSME, if I give him that, this fellow will become busy with my neighboring industry. At least for 3 months, he'll not chase me for the money. 3 months peace of mind. There could, again, I'm not looking at MSMEs with intent to cheat. Let's not talk about them. There could be a genuine reason an MSME may not be having funds. All right, in spite of your transformation. So take some win out of it. All right, expand your portfolio. You have more customers that you have done it. Oftentimes, I have also heard 5% or 10% performance bonus. I've not given me, this fellow is like that. Forget it. Make more 90% rather than chasing 110%.
Right. I see that. I understand that, we need to maintain that personal rapport, but it's also about what the, impact that you've created personally with them. That's also very key.
Absolutely.
And more what I also see is that the way I'm not sure, that's probably one way, the way you structure your, the contract and the output that you are defining it. So that is something that you need to be, really clear. But you need to have your, benchmark as to where you're starting with. This is something that I also see that most of the experts miss out, right? They probably, what happens is they straight away get in. Sometimes they only focus on, this is the output. But where is the benchmark? Has the benchmark been already, have you checked the benchmark as to where they are before you're getting into a contract? So what we do is we just straight away get into the contract and we really don't see whether there is from where we're starting and then from where we are going. So when the customer, then there will be a clash in the end. I was probably somewhere there. I don't see any improvement, right? So I think you need to have the pre-work with the MSME is very, very important in terms of first setting where they are currently staged in terms of data, everything, get it signed off. Hey, I see that you are here. Are we in sync with this? And then we put a line towards where we want to reach. And the moment we reach there, I'm sure the payment obviously follows along with the key point which you said in terms of the relationship and the impact you're creating.
I would like to add one more thing here.
Sure.
See, you should be able to see. Oftentimes, what happens, not often, sometimes what happens is in a consulting engagement, you have made your scope very clear. You have made their expectations very clear. I'll need a person. I'll need any engagement. You need data.
Right.
I'll need this data. I'll need this information. I'll need these people. I need you to invest small amount of money to make certain changes. When they don't do that, when the person is not giving you data, when all these things are happening, these are small red flags that are raising.
Correct.
So it is your responsibility of a consultant to, to the decision maker to say, boss, this is not happening. Otherwise, this will fail as a product. And you need to take a call. Do you go ahead and invest with the vain hope that it is working, or do a stop loss? Stop it here, boss. I will not do this because I'm a consultant. I have certain standards and ethics. If only these things are done, it will be all right. You've agreed to that. So you will have to take a call. And that's a difficult call, unfortunately. No playbook can tell you. So you decide whether you want to go ahead and hope that some half-baked approach without proper data from them has been implemented and you get the payment. You put the data into it will work. Nobody wants that. Or you do a stop loss. I think let's part ways here. It's not working because I think you need to have certain resources in place, certain basic structures in place to generate that data. Maybe even that does not exist. So that is also a reason why probably payments don't happen, because we go ahead. I'm doing my job. If they don't do, I don't care. I've done my part of it. Pay me. That doesn't work.
Absolutely. I think, it's a very valid point here, Nitin. Anybody's got any other questions, please? Okay, there's one more question. So Ram, I think you can probably unmute and even ask this question.
That's okay.
Okay. To your point, okay, Nitin, to your point, would it also make sense to do a risk assessment for MSME? For example, what will I get out of this engagement with this MSME, like chasing sales volume, marquee customer, or a unique implementation with more potential references?
Okay.
Looking at a risk assessment for an MSME, that's what should we do that?
Yeah. I got the question. So what I'm trying to frame my thoughts before I answer that. You are a consultant. You are a consultant because there is nobody better than you at what you do.
Right.
Please believe on that. All right. There's nobody better than you at what you do. That is why you're consulting. That is why one company cannot keep you. You need multiple companies to showcase your talent. Please do that. Please believe in that. Now, whatever prerequisites, whatever things that you need to probably, take into consideration. All right. You are the better judge whether an MSME risk assessment needs to be done or not. Now, there are small brick and mortar industries where, highly polluting kind of industries run by running in the borderlines of the law. All right. They are operating under the radar of all the statutory bodies, and the people are in the business because of their clout and connections. I don't think you need to do any risk assessment at all for those kind of industries. Just stay away. Right? Am I kind of making sense? So you should be able to, with your experience, should be able to, catch these kind of things with reference to, again, you cannot really force a horse to drink water, right? It should be thirsty to drink water. There should be a will. And that will is what you need to study. There should be a will for change. All right. We are like this only. We will be like this only. This is what we are. Oh, you want to try. If you are desperate for kind of a things, yes, probably you can do it. Or if they offer it to you as a challenge, let us see if you can do something. It will not work. I says, no, sir, but you give me a clear cut. I will do it. We'll work for 15 days, 10 days, and this. If it is on a challenge basis, you're taking it, that's a different story. But if somebody is very half-heartedly giving it to you, you are, making roads for failure. So I agree to your point. Yes, a risk assessment for the MSME is something you need to do. But like I had a playbook, which was the expectation of an MSME from the consultant, I guess with experience, you should be able to create a playbook. These industries, let me not touch.
Right.
The people working in the auxiliary, cement auxiliaries, all right, they're very polluting industries. The cement industry is highly regulated, everything is clear, but certain raw materials that get into it are totally unregulated. People keep moving their factories from industrial area to village to, Porambok land or whatever you call it, keep moving it away, but they keep running it. You don't want to get into that. There's no government will to ensure that these kinds of things are in a proper space. So I guess you should be able to do that.
Okay. There's one more question from
Can a consultant get an MSME tag and some kind of shield under MSME Act regarding payments for clients? Okay, Government of India, what little research I have done, Government of India, federal and state, central government and state, not now, forever have been having various schemes and policies in place by way of, incentives, by way of direct credits to consulting people. They've always been having something or other. All right. And the awareness, unfortunately, is very, very limited, or very few people have that. And for long, people have been misusing these things. Now, people will say that, if you put up, a crane, people are using a chain pulley. So if you put up a crane, the government gives you, 80% or 50% or 60% reimbursement. Invest in the crane. So people started going to a crane, say, how much is a crane? 1.2 lakhs. Okay, give me a crane for 12 lakhs. I'll give you 3 lakhs. Give me an invoice. Yes, there are people who have been doing this kind of thing. Therefore, the government has kind of, made the things right. There are a lot of rules in place and all that. But the fact remains that there are a lot of incentives that still exist both in the central and the state government. One needs to probably get into it. Now, good that you brought up this thing, because one of the areas that we are eventually, going to be looking at in our platform itself in nicheBrains is about these kind of incentives at the federal, at the state, at the central and the state level. So if these kind of things are existing, if you can prove to the auditing authority, a government auditing authority, that your milestones have been completed, you will get your payments from the government directly.
Right.
There have been references, there have been instances in the past. Now, getting yourself registered as an MSME tag is what you're asking. I really don't think that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's kind of, trying to fit your feet to the shoe. All right, that's really not necessary, because you're an independent one man or a team of 3-4 people consultant. You don't really need to get yourself registered as an MSME. Yes, you can get empaneled if Government of India or Government of the state government has it. There will be schemes to get yourself empaneled as an independent consultant. You could probably do that, and that could help you in that. You need to do a little more research. I currently am not the right person to delve deeper into that.
I think there are some steps towards that, Nikhil, but I'm sure we can come back on that. I think you can do that, but then with respect to the steps, I'm sure we can come back on that, Nikhil. But it's a possibility. Yeah. Fantastic. Any other questions that we have? Anybody? You can probably even unmute and ask it. Yeah.
So one of the things
so can you also throw some light on the amount of time taken for the engagement between the consultants and the MSMEs? Why is it too long?
Okay. The time taken between the consultancy, why is it too long? See, the time taken is X. If a consultancy engagement, we are entering into an engagement with a consultant, the time is X. Now, what is X? It can be anything. It can be 2 days, it can be 2 years. This is something that the consultant should clearly communicate to the MSME or the customer. All right, what is that X? Is it 2 days, 2 years, 15 15 days, 15 months, whatever it is. It can be anything depending on the engagement. I'm assuming your question is, we decided on X, it became 1.5x, it became 1.7x, it became 2x. I'm assuming that is your question. Right. This again happens because of, the improper connect. You have certain expectations. You have made your, takeaways or giveaways very clearly. You have made your giveaways very clear. This, A, B, C, D is what I'll be giving you. For this A, B, C, D, I require X, Y, Z from you. Now, that is where the problem comes. That is where the delays happen. So raising the flag, all right, or raising the issue, telling them that, okay, this was supposed to have a clear-cut project plan, a clear-cut milestone with reference to data to be given on this particular date, this information to be given, my recommendation to be implemented within 15 days, all right? And every time, if there is a delay, have a mechanism of revising your targets. We have lost 20 days time, therefore my end date is going to be 20 days plus.
Yeah.
Keep your customer informed about, so that he knows, I'm expecting D-Day, December 31st, I'm expecting. No, it is now January 24th. It is not December 31st. Why? Because this happened. How can we share it? At least the remaining teams, you try to, squeeze it up. I have certain milestones where I require you to finish something in 15 days. Can you? Probably we'll shave off some time there. So this is where you need to do course corrective action as part of the project plan while we are going ahead.
Great. Any other questions we have? Great. I think we're good for the session today, Nitin. So thanks again, Nitin, for your informative session today. So I think the session 2 has really picked up steam. So thanks once again for the lovely conversation. I'm sure the audience have quite a lot to take forward. Thanks everyone. And this is John signing off, and see you on the next episode of the Join John, with probably another interesting topic and another interesting host. Yep. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.